What is up, everybody? Welcome to Peaches and Power Bombs. I am your host, Majestic Marie. Unfortunately, Alora cannot be with us this evening, but she is with us in spirit, and she sends all of the good wishes and well-being to you, Eric, and to the show next week. So, how are you doing?
Oh well, just staying busy as always. This is a quite a historical undertaking.
I would believe so. You have some things going on in the next couple weeks, and we're going to get into all of that. But if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and take care of the business side of things. So everybody, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us here at Peaches and Power Bombs. We have a goal that at the end of the year we would like to reach 1,000 followers on Facebook. We are only about 200 or so, little less than 300 maybe of getting there. So please help us get there, and you won't be sorry if you do. Because we're just delightful little
Oh,
peaches over here.
absolutely. And to piggyback on what she just said, where else are you going to find the most unique and most action-packed events all around Metro Atlanta area? And right here,
Absolutely.
Peaks and Power Bombs.
Absolutely. Yep. If you don't know, guys, we're talking about a very huge event that's going on next weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The
3 glorious days. Three.
Yes, three days. Um, Eric, tell us a little bit more about what's going on.
Well, I tell you, from something that started out as an idea just a couple months ago, um, I'll start to share the story with you. So, as some of you may or may not know, Coco Beware had a health scare on us a few months ago.
Oh no.
Coco and I have been friends for well over 25 years, so our
Mm-hmm.
relationship has transcended wrestling, if you will. And the idea was I was going to go to Memphis and check on him. He says, "Well, why don't we just do something together later?" He said, "When's your birthday?" And when I told him, he says, "That'd be perfect." He says, "Me and the wife will come down for a little Atlanta vacation. Advertise me when I get the go ahead from her." So he kind of helped drum things along, and then of course, local native Demolition Axe, one half of one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling, gives me
Mm-hmm.
a call and says, "Hey, a little birdie told me that we're going to do something for your birthday." And then, of course, it went from there. Um, as you can see, there are 13 legends coming to this show,
That's a
and
lot.
um, wow, my cup runneth over. Um, we had to open an extra day because Sabu had an event that Saturday in Minnesota. So it says, "Hey,
Okay.
let's make it Friday," and he's flying in Thursday anyway. So um, there's a couple of other guests who are not wrestlers that I'd like to give some special recognition to for all of you Dragon Ball Z fans out there. The voice of Majin Buu, Josh Martin,
Oh,
will be joining Majestic Marie and my good buddy Ron Emerson on commentary. So, buddy, you are going to get the play-by-play of a lifetime at the Birthday of Champions.
that's you're gonna make me even more nervous than I already am.
Oh, hey,
Thanks a
look,
lot.
look here. Just like we do every time I show up on this world famous podcast, Peaches Power Bombs here. Just do what comes natural, girlie. It'll be okay. You do
Yep.
a good job. I watch you. I follow everything you do, folks. If you haven't followed, you need to chime in. This girl knows what she's talking about. And one of my
High
other
praise.
one of my other new buddies that I met a couple months ago and had a drink or two with, Aqua Teen Hunger Force on Cartoon Network. All you young folks are into that stuff. I say young folks because I'm an old guy here. My lovely wife, Brandy Scott Baker, the longest reigning Stranglehold World Winners Champion in history, is a huge fan of this gentleman. He is Kerry Means, known as the voice of Frylock.
Okay.
He will help me and two ECW originals, Sabu and Justin Credible, kick off the Birthday of Champions with a signing Thursday evening from 5 to 8 at Flashback Games in Marietta, Georgia. So that'll be your one night to meet Frylock.
Okay.
So bring all your Aqua Teen Hunger Force memorabilia, come take some pictures, get some autographs, meet the man himself, because I tell you what, he's an absolute pleasure to work with. And of course, I can't say enough good things about ECW original Sabu and Just Incredible, because I am celebrating 30 years of professional wrestling.
Mm.
And those two men in particular basically helped me start it all.
That's
They're
amazing.
the ones that, gave me my first peek behind the curtain.
Mm.
Basically said, here's the lines, bud. We don't cross it. Here's the do's, don'ts of how to be successful in professional wrestling. And my journey began from that point, 1994, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that led up to this day, that led up to this celebration coming up next week. And I'm telling you, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
sure you are.
the cool thing about Just Incredible is we're going to have literally an incredible weekend, because he will be with us all weekend long.
That's awesome.
So Sabu will give us an extra day on Friday, and then he'll be leaving to go to a friend of mine's show up in Minnesota, MAW. He'll be up there Saturday.
Cool.
And he'll be with us Friday. He'll fly out. He'll join my friends up there on Saturday for an additional celebration. So that'll be great. One of the greatest mentors of my life, Abdullah the Butcher. I'll tell you guys a little story about Abby. I was part of the original Georgia Championship Wrestling Revival in 2011.
Okay.
And Mr. Grady Odom had decided that, hey, look, I want to basically have the legends that made Georgia Championship Wrestling a household name pass the torch to some younger talent. The first person we came across was a guy, and I'm sure Allure remembers this fella, Kimbrough Jones. At the time, he was the almighty Brokishi.
Okay.
And this goes back to our Fort Valley days with, when Allure would be in the crowd. And her brother would be in the ring doing his thing.
Okay.
So bring in Kimbrough Jones. Abdullah decides to pass the torch, and we change him into the Congolese Nightmare. So Abdullah passed the torch to this man in 2011. Now, it's unfortunate that Mr. Jones had some health issues and had to retire from the business, because, buddy, the money was printing itself.
Yeah.
But Uncle Abby is 83 now. He's had a way longer career than any of us could ever imagine.
Right.
And for him to say, hey, bro, Uncle Abby wants to come see your nephew for your birthday, and that means everything. It does.
I'm sure it does.
And
it's
sure, go ahead.
It's really cool that you mentioned Koko B. Ware kind of helping you start that. Start the whole process of dreaming this up and coming up with it. Is Koko B. Ware is actually the one person that my dad is looking forward to meeting the most next weekend. Because my dad is from Southern Indiana, and he used to travel across the river to Louisville, Kentucky, and see Koko B. Ware every Tuesday night in Memphis, for Memphis wrestling. So
absolutely
very excited about that.
Well, I tell you, the saddest part about this business is the men and women I've grown up watching on television. There's days that the day will come where I have to say goodbye to all of them.
Yeah.
There's people I wish were still here, and I know they'll be here in spirit. And that reminds me, I have a special match on Saturday.
Okay.
It is a Chicago Street Brawl with the team of Legion, which is Rage and Goth. We're defending their tag titles against the Brotherhood in a Chicago street fight in tribute to the Road Warriors. Because I know both my brothers will be there. My Uncle Joe, my Uncle Mike will be there in spirit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I had a distinct pleasure getting to know them and form a relationship, especially with my Uncle Joe there. And not a day goes by that I don't think about him. Speaking of that, have I ever told you what the crown jewel of my collection is?
I think you might have shown it the last time you were on
Yep,
here.
I have an original Road Warrior spike
Yeah, that's right.
that he gave to me, and you can't put a price on these things.
No, no.
But yeah, Coco gave me quite the scare, telling me something was physically wrong with him, and it led up to the formation of this, and everybody saying, "Hey, you know what? I'd like to be there."
That's cool.
You know, there's one guy who doesn't give himself enough credit. I want to give him a shout out. His name is Chris Whaley, or properly Dr. Chris Whaley. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this man. He wrestled as the Masked Saint in the Florida territory from 78 to 88 before becoming a minister.
Okay.
He also wrote the best-selling book and movie, The Masked Saint. It was
Okay.
the last film appearance of one Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Okay.
Last movie he ever made. So there'll be copies, of course, for all interested. But the other thing, I am a Christian. I know a
Mhm.
lot of folks out there ain't, but I'm a man of faith. And Dr. Whaley baptized my children last year.
Okay.
So, really, really personal, big deal. The guy's a legend among legends. He really is.
Sure. Absolutely.
And of course, what is a birthday of champions without a former WWF World Heavyweight Champion, Sergeant Slaughter?
Absolutely.
Oh my God! Besides liking him as a wrestler, GI Joe was my thing as a kid. As far
Mhm.
as the toys and all went, GI Joe was my thing. One of the things that actually influenced me to become a real life GI Joe and spend a career in the Navy. And the other thing I want to share about our roster is there are several people on this roster that are all former and retired military.
Mhm.
So that's a pretty big deal for us because Stranglehold Championship Wrestling is the first ever veteran founded and operated wrestling organization in the world.
Wow.
A lot of folks don't know that. There's a lot of tie-ins there, especially where he's concerned. He was a great big influence in my life, Sergeant Slaughter. And like I said, every man and woman on this poster has influenced me in some shape, form, or fashion over a 30-year career. Tito Santana, man, I really, really look forward to seeing him again. There's a lot of people who don't remember him, but when we're talking about the Intercontinental Championship in WWE, Tito
Mhm.
Santana was one of the most well known in history to have
Right.
carried the Intercontinental Championship. And he was one of the greatest to carry that title.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about a guy who was great without carrying a title, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yep.
Oh my God! I mean, it wouldn't be a party without Jake the Snake.
Yeah, he knows how to do that. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of fun stories about Jake, and
Mhm.
he thankfully Diamond Dallas Page was able to help him
Yep.
and put him on a better road.
Yep.
Jake Snake is doing, currently he's in Scotland as we speak.
Okay.
Um, doing some appearances there. He's getting out there more. I mean, like I said, he's basically
Mhm.
here and there on AEW, as you well know.
Yep. 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 I
And
think he's still managing Lance Archer, if I'm not mistaken.
that's
So.
correct. So, what an honor that is for Lance to have Jake Snake Roberts in his corner.
Yeah.
And Jake and I have been down that road time and time again over more than 2 decades.
Mm.
He will be appearing Saturday only from 12
Okay.
to 3. But if I know him, he'll stay and make sure he gets to meet and talk to everybody. He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a sweetheart. Yep.
Um, we were talking about Demolition Axe. Of course, local to our area, and I like to call him my wrestling dad, and I'll tell you why. Back in August of 2012, I lost my real dad. And first thing the boys did was they put a show together for me. He was the first of 2 legends to volunteer to put that show on for me to help me raise funds to bury my father.
Mm.
And he has been a great mentor. I mean, every time I see him, I might as well get a notebook and write down notes because he always has something new to tell me, something new to teach me. And Tony Atlas the same way. Unfortunately, Tony was had a previous engagement. He'd be with us,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely, it's like I'm always saying, wrestling is life.
Yeah, it kind of is.
I mean, it really is because these men and women on this poster have given me exactly that.
Yeah.
And 30 years to know all these people, and like I said, the only difference is I've never met Princess Victoria face to face. This will be my first time, but
Mm-hmm.
I talk
Me
to her
too.
all the time, almost like every day, and she always has something new to share. What a wealth of knowledge that she is, and she's one of the only wrestlers alive that worked every territory.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I can't make any promises out there in Peachland, but we're going to try. I'm going to try to talk to her about coming on. And I, I'm hoping that she'll be very open into coming since, this is a women's podcast and everything. So I'm
Well, I
hoping
am
that,
I am sure if her favorite nephew talks to her, I think we can make that happen.
okay. Yeah,
You
it,
know,
would it,
you,
it
you
would
know,
mean a lot
the
to us.
cool thing about Princess Victoria, she reminds me of my Aunt May. Uh,
Aw,
so much about so many similarities between her and my aunt.
that's awesome.
Tell it like it is, whether it hurts your feelings or not. But always there to encourage you. Lift you up when you're down at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt was like that. God rest her soul.
Tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear.
Yeah, and let's talk about some WCW alumni because I mean, Atlanta, Georgia, it's the home World Championship Wrestling. We got three of them.
Yeah.
We got the
Okay.
team of Buff Bagwell and Scotty Riggs appearing Friday, the American males, because they have to be in Memphis, Tennessee for Memphis Wrestling for the upcoming 2 days. And Ernest the Cat Miller, one of my favorite guys in the world. Um, Everybody asks me all the time, who's one of the most underrated wrestlers you can think of? Ernest the Cat Miller, definitely. I mean, what a guy, what a technician in the ring, and just personality, you know, to boot. You know what I'm saying? Ernest the
Mm-hmm.
Cat Miller has a lot to offer. Um, if you did not know, he played in the movie The Wrestler alongside Mickey Rourke.
Okay.
He played a character called the Ayatollah. So if you have not seen The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke, get your copy, bring it to the cat, and get him to sign it for you. I do recommend you watch it because a lot of underlying message in this movie hits home with a lot of us in the business. It
Mm-hmm.
basically gives a snapshot of what wrestling actually is to us, instead of just to the fans, because,
Right.
and let me say this to all my Stranglehold superstars out there, guys and girls, I really appreciate this wholeheartedly. You make an old man feel good. Thank you for doing everything you do, making those drives, making those sacrifices, putting your bodies on the line each and every
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
because it wouldn't be what it is without you guys to carry on the legacy of these legends that'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we always ask the question. The biggest thing about teams like the Road Warriors and Roddy Piper and guys like that, they're no longer here, but are here in spirit. You ask, who will fill their shoes?
Yeah.
Does their legacy die when they do? Well, the short answer is it shouldn't.
Mm-mm.
The short answer is there should be somewhere, somehow, for one of these up and comers to continue that legacy and do it with pride.
Yeah.
Which is why Legion got the rub from Road Warrior Animal before his passing. The original plan was for Animal to manage them as we progress. Sometimes we don't always get what we want, but we were blessed to get the blessing. I was blessed to have the relationship I did with him. And I'm even more blessed to have all these folks that I've developed that relationship with over these years, coming to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
I will be leaving Georgia this year.
Oh man.
I have got an offer on my house. We went under contract 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Well, there's a couple possibilities. There's the possibility I may have an offer for employment in Charleston, South Carolina. And there's still the possibility I'll end up in the Gulf region of Florida as originally planned. We'll
Okay.
just play it by ear.
Okay. Are you still going to be doing things in the wrestling business, or
You
you'll?
know, there's been times, and even during this, where I've been frustrated. I've been like, "Oh, this is it." But the fact is, nobody gets out of wrestling alive. It's the truth. I mean, you look at the people that made a way for folks like us, right, to
Yeah.
even have these conversations, to have this dialogue. Somebody somewhere had to influence you to say, "You know what? I want to be part of this. I
Hmm.
want to do this because it gets in your blood, and
Yeah.
you're pretty much in it for life.
Yeah.
You can
Exactly.
take all the breaks you want, but nobody ever walks away from this.
No.
No, they don't. I mean,
No.
trust me."
No. No. No.
Because
No.
especially me, and I know Laura can attest to this, since we have a history.
Hmm.
Especially with her family and all, they can attest that all somebody's got to do is give me the right idea, and I'll take it and go with it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, henceforth, the birthday of champions.
Right. 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 Yeah. The wrestling business, when it bites, it leaves a mark, and it never really goes away.
Nope, sure
You
doesn't. I
know.
mean, I met my wife in the ring in Fort Valley many years ago. I got a little beautiful baby boy because of it.
Hmm.
Well, he's not such a baby no more. He's 9, but you get my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
He's my baby.
Yeah. He'll be your baby
My-
when he's 62. So.
Well, my 2 other children are grown, and you know, having families and all this kind of stuff, or they're working towards that. So, he's the only one I have left at home.
Yeah.
And, I know he'll grow up and inherit this business, as we all have,
Hmm.
because he'll watch something like that and make any sense. Who booked this? He'll sit there critiquing. I was like, well, what would you have done? So, first of all, why did we just kill that push all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Because the way they were pushing this guy should have led to a bigger match at a larger show. Why would we just kill the push like that? That didn't make any sense. What was the point of the build if we were just going to kill it and stuff like that?
Yeah.
He knows how to
It
he knows what he's looking at.
it's funny when they do that. My niece, when she was about 8, maybe 9 too, and we were watching something, and I don't remember, and someone climbed up to the top rope, and she starts counting, and she goes, "I reached 4 seconds. The other guy's going to move," and sure enough, they moved.
Mhm.
She already was starting to understand their timing and stuff. I was like, okay, okay,
Yep.
well, you know what you're looking at.
So, do you have children?
No,
No kids?
no, don't have
Not
any.
yet, huh?
I don't know if that. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Well, let me give you a piece of advice. I had a motorcycle wreck not long after my oldest was born, and they told me I would never have children again. It took some trying, but we eventually got my daughter. You know,
Mhm.
and then years later, I got remarried and all. At 40 years old, having another child.
Yeah.
Trust me, when it's meant to happen, when they're meant to be here, they're coming, and boy, does it come with a vengeance.
Well, I'm not opposed to the idea.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's just one of those things that just
I've
hasn't
heard
worked
I've heard,
out yet.
heard a lot of friends of mine say, because they see other people's kids, I couldn't have kids. It's like it's different when they're yours.
Yeah, yeah.
It's different when you see a little you running around, because it changes things,
Hmm. I'm
and it
sure it
brings
does.
it humbles you, brings you down to earth.
Hmm.
So I gotta tell you, I've been running my gap all this time. Uh, what's some things you're looking forward to?
Um, well, there's a lot of, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of people on the card that I'm not familiar with, but I'm excited about learning more about them.
Oh yeah,
But there is one particular match that I'm looking forward to because I know both of these guys. And Brina Royce versus Luca Daniels is
oh
probably
yeah,
the match I'm looking.
for the vacant Stranglehold International title. I'm gonna tell
Mhm.
you something. everybody's like, "Well, who's your favorite in that match?" I said, "I can't say that I have one because both these young men, just they bring the passion, they bring the fire every time they set foot in the ring."
Yes.
Which is why I threw that curveball at them because they're so accustomed to tagging.
Yeah.
I decided to throw a curveball at them and see who the best really is.
Okay. I was wondering, I was like, weren't they like in, together? Like, we're facing each other now? Okay. Okay.
Well, there can only
That's,
be one international champion.
yeah, that's true. That's
And I
true.
can tell you this, both men have been in this business a short time,
Mm-hmm.
but they have gone leaps and bounds over a lot of these people that have remained stagnant.
Yes. Yes.
I'll touch on that for a minute because this is something that needs to be addressed. All levity aside, if you were a wrestler in this business and you cannot better yourself, you cannot evolve, just go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you cannot evolve as a talent, you cannot evolve as a person,
Mm-hmm.
then step aside and let somebody that's hungrier and don't hold back these hungry people.
Absolutely.
Case in
Absolutely.
point, another example of a shining young athlete, young Mighty Joe. He's as savage as they come, but he's young and he's hungry.
Mm.
And I see big things happening for him.
Does he have a match on the card?
He's gonna be working. He's gonna be working on Saturday.
Okay.
I don't want to reveal too much yet because it's a surprise.
Oh, okay. Okay. We won't.
But one of the promoters in this state that I respect the most because he's been doing it longer, and honestly, I feel like others are holding him back, and that's Ben Masters.
Okay.
So Ben Masters has kind of gotten a renewed vigor with basically championing the career of this young Mighty Joe,
Okay.
and I can see it. It's one thing I can say about me and Ben both. We look through similar looking glasses when we're doing what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that because I've learned a lot from him over many, 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 many years.
Okay.
You know, I'll give you a little trivia fact about him. He started the career of Rob Van Dam
Okay.
in the original Peach State Wrestling in Cordele, Georgia. Like
Okay.
now, so there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long time. That's something right there.
That's a man that's been actively involved in professional wrestling that I know of since 1987.
Mm.
That he's still a valued resource to everybody that he aligns himself with. We have butted heads before, but it's nothing I consider detrimental.
Yeah.
I have still learned a lot from the man. I still respect the man, and he'll be there critiquing and watching and getting ideas of his own at the Birthday of Champions.
Cool. Yep.
Hence why we decided to do an early show that Saturday and kind of wrap things up
Mm-hmm.
at 3:00 and be on the road by say 4:30. Is a lot of these guys have Wrestle America that night down in Barnesville.
Okay.
That's another show that because of Ben, I respect it a little more. You know what I mean? There's some
Okay.
guys on the card that I don't particularly like, but that's just a personal thing. But as you progress in this business, you're going to work with people you don't necessarily like or feel comfortable with, but you're going to realize these people are valuable.
It's life.
Yeah.
With anything. I mean, in any business, in any situation, if you want to accomplish something, sometimes you just have to grit your teeth and just
Mm-hmm.
work through it and be professional as much as you
But in
can.
other instances, when they're just creeps, it's time for them to go.
Oh no creeps, no
We can't have
creeps.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
So we have to remind some of these people that slip through the cracks
Mm-hmm.
as we've experienced over the last couple of years, and who I'm talking about without me having to say it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to be reminded that there's kids in that audience, kids that are watching their every move and deciding who they're going to emulate.
Yeah.
These are kids that become professionals in this business at some point. A lot
Yeah.
of them. I saw my very first live wrestling match in 1977,
Yeah.
and I was hooked.
Mm.
And I've gotten to know, as they say, the good, bad, and ugly of this business.
Mhm.
Over a 30-year time period. I
Yeah.
never dreamed I would be here.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, before I walked into Philadelphia, before I even joined the Navy, to even get me to go into Philadelphia, I had aspirations to be a rock musician. So I always said, well, I wanted to be a rock star, so I guess the closest I'll ever get to it. And then,
It's similar though.
I had several friends, well, you are a rock star. I mean, look what you're doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well, all I can say is I do my best.
Mhm. Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, I do my best. I know I'm not perfect, but I do make a go at it. So I'm going to put my name on it and make sure it's right.
Mhm.
So that's important as it is. Your name is your pedigree.
Yeah.
What you tie yourself to, what you become part of, what you allow to happen, that's your pedigree.
Mhm.
Case in point, I saw a similar situation, promoted in another state, telling people, hey, you should have had your license before you accepted a booking with me. Well, not to throw stones or play devil's advocate, but it's your job to make sure that everybody that comes through your door is on the up and up.
Mhm.
Whether they're properly licensed, they're properly trained, they're not creeps, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, and this goes for everybody, there are people that do slip through the crack, and it's our job to police that, deal with
Yeah.
it as it comes.
Yep. Yep. And sometimes you have to do. It might be hard, but sometimes you have to do the right thing. And
It sometimes you have to ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze?
mhm.
It is hard sometimes when the lines are blurred.
Yeah. And some people are really really good at hiding who they truly are too.
You
So
got that right.
I
As,
wouldn't I
as
wouldn't
I came to
even
find
fault
out,
you at that.
as I've come to find out a few times this past year,
Yeah.
and prior to that, it's you really think you know somebody after 2 decades.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah.
But we live, we learn, we move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard lesson to learn. But anyway,
So
um
you yourself, you're about to step into an environment you're not used to.
yes.
You have all eyes on you,
Yeah.
because when you're commentary and when you're an announcer, the show kind of starts and ends with you.
Mhm.
Especially if you're the announcer, I mean, you're the showpiece.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're like being a barker at a carnival, you're the first thing everybody sees and the last thing everybody sees before the show ends.
Yep. Yep.
So you
Exactly.
better be on your toes in commentary. Like I said, you're adding the flavor to what
Mhm.
they're witnessing in the ring. You're there putting that. Your job is to put whoever it is in that ring, whether you like them or not, over.
Yep. Yep. Well, good thing I like to season my food, so
Absolutely. And that's one thing I take pride in, is I like to think that I give the fans and the people I work around um, a variety of different things, because there's so many different types of wrestling fan out there nowadays.
yeah.
Wrestling was wrestling back in the 70s and 80s. It just was.
Yeah.
You had your favorites, at the same time, you were moved by every exploit that every man and woman did at that time in the ring. But now there's so many different types of wrestlers,
Mhm.
more so than there was back then.
Yeah, there's different. I mean, there's kind of something for everybody in wrestling. I mean, you got your your luchadors, your high flyers. You've got your more technical
But
wrestlers. You've
it
got your
I'm
brawlers.
here and
I
talk at
mean, you
the same time. It's a bit stuffy in my house, a bit stuffy in the car.
yeah.
As you
Oh,
can
we can see
imagine,
you now.
Yeah, as you can imagine, we've been getting ready for our relocation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of moving parts in the house right now. On top of keeping everything rolling into next week.
Mm-hmm.
So yep, just beautiful day out here. Going into evening. You know, great conversation about my favorite topic, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
Uh,
you want to hear a funny story? This is kind of
yes,
a sidebar. It's till I've been hitting the head a lot on sidebars.
that's okay.
Had a young man that worked for me in the military. Literally bring snacks and beer, everything, and crash my apartment one night. He says, "I want to know everything there is to know about professional wrestling."
Really?
That was at 7 o'clock that night. We just sat there and talked. We watched different matches on TV, whether it was indie or WWE, AEW, some of the older territory stuff. I took him through a lot of things. By the time we got done, we had literally been up for 42 hours,
Wow.
and I barely scratched the 70s and 80s,
Yeah, for real.
and I barely
Um,
scratched my career.
mm-hmm.
I was like, man, there's so much more I could tell you. I was like, how
Yeah, I
much
need
time you
some
got?
sleep.
George Steele once said, if you profess to know everything there is to know about the business, get out, because that
Exactly.
means you can't be taught anymore. He says, I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm.
And George Steele was like, I've been in the business since 1962, and I still don't know everything there is to know about wrestling.
For real.
So
For real.
I did good to fill in some blanks for the guy, but I was like, I'm telling you, there is no way I can give it all to you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this you're just going to find out.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
And he went on to
Um,
promote a few of his own shows and do a few things, and he learned. But
that's
again,
cool.
he also knew that he wouldn't know everything there is to know about the business.
No, no. And you're not really going to learn. I mean, you will learn from conversations and talking with people and things like that, and them handing down their wisdom to you. But sometimes there's some things you're just not going to learn unless you start doing it and getting into it yourself. So there's the learning by experience as well.
Absolutely, and that's one thing. I will talk to Victoria for you, Miss Vic. If you watching this, I'll be in touch with you about getting you on this show with the majestic one here and the partner Laura. I think you
Please.
would I think you would add a lot to this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
Heck, if I'd have known you were looking forward to that, I might have seen what I could have done tonight just as a surprise. But
Oh.
I know she's kind of been on the wrong side of daylight the last couple of days, and we've talked here and there. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll arrange it after the show, or maybe we can do something special at the show. Because guess
Okay.
what? Even though she's not advertised, but for Saturday, she's going to be with me from Thursday on.
Okay.
So hey, you don't ever know.
Hmm.
Do you like jewelry, by the way?
Do it.
Do you like jewelry, by the way?
Um. Yeah. It's
Well,
okay.
well, one of the things that you can appreciate about her is she makes some one of a kind jewelry. Kind
Oh,
of what
that's
she does
cool.
as a
That's
business.
cool.
Since she's no longer in the ring, obviously,
Mm-hmm. Right.
it would be a nice gesture if you'd take a piece you liked,
Okay. Okay. Yes, I will definitely do that. Yeah.
And
I don't.
a lot of the jewelry she produces is of the Native American variety. That she is Native American
Mm,
also.
okay. Yeah, I'm a very forgetful and person, and I will lose things very easily. So, I don't even take my wedding ring out of the box. I just wear this thing because I am so scared that I'm going to lose it. So.
Well, she is. We were talking about young Mighty Joe. She's actually making some headgear and a necklace for his match.
That's awesome. That it
So
that's amazing.
That will be revealed soon.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool there.
And I'm gonna put a feather in my own cap on this one. I gave her a few ideas. Cause she was like, I'm stumped. How do I do this? It's like I've got some ideas, but it's like, hey, go watch Conan. And she's like, I didn't even think about that. Anyway, she showed me what she'd been working with. I was like, that's it. You got it. right on the head. And like I said, I don't want to reveal nothing else because it's a surprise.
Mhm.
I'm excited about it. Probably more
Yeah.
so the young man is. It's cool to be able to see your ideas come to fruition. That's the best part about this. Is
Mhm.
seeing something that you see in your mind as a possibility and then it
Mhm.
becomes reality.
Yes.
Well, it's an amazing thing.
Mhm. That it
But
is.
and I'll give you this piece of advice too. Like I said, I know you're new to this business. But the one thing about the legends, whether it be Princess Victoria or anybody you see pictured on that flyer, if you let them talk, they'll
They'll
give you the
talk.
key. They'll give you the keys to the kingdom, and you will receive the education that you can't get nowhere else.
Yeah.
Like what a lot of these, in particular, for this show, they always have something new to tell me every time I see them. It's almost like, let's say I don't see them for a few months or even a couple of years, we pick up right where we left off. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like we didn't miss a beat. You know,
Mhm.
and it's like that with me and a lot of the indies are on the show as well. Uh, that are part of the roster. I might not see them for a while, but it's like old hat. We see each other. They
Yeah.
pick right up. I mean, that's the cool part about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'd like to think if we have a successful event next week,
You will.
I'd like to think that we will. So,
Yes.
and this is we because this is not just about me.
Mhm.
And that's one thing that separates me from a lot of other promoters and bookers is I've never made this about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as a gag, I call it the birthday of champion, a manager champions, birthday of champions, more as a gag. But I mean, when you look at the name, birthday of champions, well, like I said, it makes up for all the crappy birthdays we've had, and it makes us all champions at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Because the only thing I can think of is I'm going to be living on a beach this time next year. If I do one for my 50th birthday, if I live to see it, then maybe we'll do something on the beach. That thought has been crossing my mind. I like to visualize things.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we don't do the best this time, I'm sitting there and I grumble a little bit, which I often do because, I'm a grouchy old guy sometimes.
We're
It
all
never,
grouchy sometimes.
this will never die with me.
Yeah.
I also realize that a lot of people who have supported me and become part of my family, you know, because I feel like everybody that works for me, majority of them are literally that. They're part of my family.
Mhm.
And that's how I look at them. I look at them as more than just somebody that shows up. Here's your money. Go wrestle. Okay. See you later. I like to think that they can give me a call and say, "Hey, I'd like to just talk to you for a minute."
Yeah.
At least that's the way I look at it. And maybe they don't all feel the same, but you know,
Mhm. If you're okay with it, I'm gonna read a few of these comments so just people know that we're
oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Hit me with it. What we got?
Aw, Christine is sweet. She says Marie rocks. She's the best. Smart cookie. That's sweet.
Oh yeah, very
Um,
good.
Shane is saying thank you for your service,
Thank you,
Eric.
ma'am. Thank you.
Um, let's see. Randy says wrestling now is too much of a talk show or play. They got away from the wrestling like the 70s and early 80s.
I tend to agree. I'm hoping to try to fix that. But hey, I'm also open to suggestions too.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the product nowadays, but I have to agree that it's not really about sometimes it's more about the angle than the match or whatever. So,
Right. Well, storytelling in itself, right? Because
yeah.
storytelling is what really made wrestling wrestling. There's
Mhm.
a lot of stuff you see now that does not tell a story.
Mhm.
Like some of these people, where'd you learn your psychology from? because I'm not seeing a ton of it.
Did they bother to ask?
Yeah. Or can they even spell psychology, much less know it?
Hmm.
You know, and I got to touch on this a little bit. And I think some of y'all out there in TV land watching can agree. There was a time and a place in the independent wrestling scene, if I could look at just about anybody and say, okay, around this time they're going to start getting called up. You could almost predict it.
Yeah.
I went to the last SmackDown show that was in town. I didn't know anybody except for like 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any of them. I was like, "Where'd you come from?" And what I'm finding out is a lot of these people are just going straight to the Performance Center and skipping the indies.
Mm-hmm.
Like Baron Corbin, for example. I
Yeah.
know you don't see a ton of him anymore,
He's
but
on NXT, I think.
yeah, well, they don't know what to do with him, and here's why. The indies was a place for you to cut your teeth to grow up in the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was designed for. It's supposed to be the grassroots of professional wrestling, as Mick Foley says.
Right.
To be able to pay your way in and go to the Performance Center, okay, I want to be trained. But you're missing the point. You're missing all the drives. You're missing all the experience. What made the legends legends? Here we go. Even better. There was so much to choose from back in the 70s and 80s, leading up to Black Saturday in 1984.
Mm-hmm.
There was always a place for somebody to work.
Yes.
There was always a place where somebody could go and get better.
Yes.
I like to think I bring in a lot of fresh people. Like I said, you said you didn't recognize anybody. There's a reason for that.
That's okay. I like
Because
learning.
because I want to bring these people in front of a fresh audience. So
I mean,
more and more people will know them.
I used to go and watch a young man every first Saturday of the month, and his name was Austin Theory. Where is he
Oh yeah,
now?
yep. Great guy. I originally had him booked right before our last show for COVID, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get a chance. I had to not do that show. But he called me and said, "I'd really like to come and work for you, sir." He was very respectful, very
Yes.
professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say enough good things about that young man, and I'm very proud of
Yes.
what he's become.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope, and George still pointed this out, everybody's run ends at some point. Everybody ends up back where they started.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see so many legends going back to the Indies to do other shows because that's all they have left.
Yeah.
But they're also choosy of what shows those are.
Yeah.
At least the really
Well,
good ones are.
I mean,
I mean,
there
let,
there's
let,
some.
let's touch on this. How many indie shows you see Sergeant Slaughter on? I mean,
Not many.
and like I said, not toot my own horn, but toot on that.
Yeah.
Because I know I must be doing something right, especially to be his favorite maggot, as he said in my video today. But that's what makes me want to do what I do is when I get those little morsels of a little ribbon here and there, and just they still remind me who I am to them. And of course, I always tell them, look, it's always a pleasure, it's always an honor to be able to to share this with you.
Yeah. Yep.
And like I said, I'm blessed. You know, on this one, I never thought. I mean, even though as some of the relationships I've built with these guys, I never thought they'd be doing this for my birthday.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
that's the cool part of why we do this. It's so
Yeah.
we can get these experiences. And I'm hoping where you're concerned is you get to build those relationships with these people
Yes. Absolutely.
because I can tell you, I can spin a yarn with you all day till the cows come home. But a lot of them got me beat by a long shot,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
lot of the stories I can tell you are some of the very same ones that they've told me.
Mm-hmm.
Who else have got for comment?
Um. Timothy is here, and he's saying hello. That's
What up? What
the
up?
only new comments, but yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And you did say that all the wrestling is free. Is that correct?
That is right. The only thing I ask is everybody buy a bracelet when they go in the arcade, because one of the other side notes of this project is I'm trying to drive up business at Flashback Games.
Yes.
Those guys are my brothers, so I'm the
And it
unofficial third guy out there, if you will. So I have just as much in that as Will and Roger do,
mhm.
and I can't bear to lose my home, so we have to make sure everybody's buying a bracelet for only $11. But the cool part is, you get admission into the place, you get to meet the legends. Of course, there's
Mhm.
autographs for sale. Please, all means, buy a couple autographs. That would help me out.
Yes.
But $11 admission, it keeps the lights on, keeps the games playing, and
And
keeps the magic alive.
you get to play as much as you can,
Oh
everyone,
yeah, let's just
as much
say,
as you want. It
let's
does
say
not
for example,
matter.
if y'all come when the doors open, and this is an everyday thing, not just for this
Mhm.
celebration.
Yep.
You come in, you pay your $11, and let's say you need to roll down the street and get some good barbecue from Lockdown Barbecue right down the road. Cheap
Okay.
plug there. As long as you got your armband on, you can come back until they close the doors that day. It's really a good deal. You're not going to get a better deal anywhere else.
Yep. And guys, I have a 50,000 point high score on Galaga. So if you can try to beat that,
Oh, I got you.
okay.
I got you.
I've been
By the way,
working on my Galaga game.
did you notice our 8 foot tall Galaga machine?
Yes, it's huge.
It is one of a kind.
It's the first thing I played when I walked in there the first time.
Yep.
Actually, it's the first game I play every time I walk into
It's
there.
funny,
So.
I found these guys. Little history here. I had just gotten out of the military and moved home, and I was doing a couple little odd jobs, here and there.
Mhm.
And there was a place across the street from where I've been working that said Flashback Arcade and Grill, because at the time they had a bar and they had food. And this was, of course, several years before COVID happened. And, I remember telling my wife, because we were on that job together, I said, why don't we go over there for lunch? I'm sure they got something we can eat. They had pizzas and pretzels and beer, of course. I ended up spending all day in there and not even going back to that job. And I was loaded there the next day when they opened.
Mhm.
And that's, of course, that's when I got to meet Will and Roger, and we clicked right away. And they're like, man, you just can't get enough. I said, man, you've got all the 80s nostalgia. You got G.I. Joes, you got He-Man, you got Transformers, you got Barbie dolls, you got everything from the 80s, everything from that arcade era on the walls and on shelves and things. And you have every game known to man, whether it be the stand-up arcade that I used to spend all my quarters on when I was a kid, or, as I got older in the NES. So we have everything from Atari 2600 all the way to a PS5. We even have an Oculus Quest. I mean, we have it all.
Mhm. And an air hockey table. My husband
And
and
we
I
do have
play.
an graphics table, yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So.
I can still spank everybody on air hockey, just to let you know.
Okay. Okay.
And of course, we have the original WWF WrestleFest game specifically put in place for this event. That has the likes
Mhm.
of Sergeant Slaughter and Jake the Snake Roberts on it.
Yes, it's
And
awesome.
and
I've
just to
played
let
it.
y'all know, I'm still the reigning champion.
Okay.
Just to let y'all know, because once I have Sergeant Slaughter, I put that Cobra Clutch on you, you've done.
Okay.
And that was the cool thing about that game, was the playability.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and here we go. What a concept! Once somebody put a finisher on you, you were done. Wow! Not 52 super kicks, not 37 false finishes. One finish, and you were done, like wrestling was supposed to be.
Well, on Sunday night for the main event on Double or Nothing, we had 2 murders and it still wasn't the finish. We had a guy get hit by a bus. We had another dude get set on fire. We had another guy whose legs got wrapped in in a cord and was swung around the ring, and it still wasn't the finisher. They went on for 15 more minutes, and I was like, "What am I watching? This is insanity."
Well, speaking of insanity, I do hope those young pretty eyes of yours are prepared for some of the matches we have on Friday, because they're going to get a little real. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, two of the greatest deathmatch legends there are in the world, Madman Pondo and Shadow WX, have made a return from Japan. And one of the first places they're stopping is, guess where? The Birthday of Champions. And we have had two brave souls challenge those two deathmatch legends, basically to a fight to the death.
Oh no.
Jerry Nelms, the Lone Wolf, and Juicy John Bishop have said that Madman Pondo and Shadow WX better call their mama, as Earth Cat Mill used to say.
Well, Eric, I still have a feeling that to the death actually means to the death, and that the death will actually be the finish. Am I correct?
Well, hey, I'm just going to say, listen, I'm glad I'm not the referee for that match either. I'm staying out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm just going to watch. I'm just going to say, please don't break anything expensive. Keep it kind of over here somewhere. And, yeah, I hope there's an ambulance nearby. Those sorts of things. But realism is important.
Mm-hmm.
And Madman Pondo has been in this business for 40 years. And Shadow WX is like the deathmatch version of the Great Muta, straight from Japan. What a resume those two men have.
Yeah.
And for those two brave souls to issue that type of challenge,
Yeah.
take your hats off for the dead is all I can say. I'm sorry, Jerry, John. Love
And
y'all.
who gets to be ringside doing commentary for that? Me.
Right.
Yay. Please don't. Please leave me out of it.
But all joking aside, all ribbon aside, and all all terrifying comments aside, you're in for a treat.
Yes.
Because one thing I will say about all those present is it's going to be once in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
And a guy I like to refer to as the second coming of Abdullah the Butcher, Satu Jin.
Okay.
One of our crazy local boys, Dio Norris. You may have heard his name. Dio Norris is such a nut job. He's had 4 brain surgeries, but yet he is going into a death match against the second coming of Abdullah the Butcher. Man.
Okay.
Last time I had him on a show, MomoCon 22, and for the Warzone Championship 8-man elimination, he took a wood saw to his dome.
Oh my goodness.
See, these are people that make stuff like that look good.
Yeah.
It is I know Cornette's probably shaking his head at me right now. and just, making it sound like he choked me right now.
There's a time and a place for it, though.
I love you, Corny, but I've always said there's a market for this. There are rabid fans of this type of wrestling.
Yeah.
That know what Madman Pondo, Shadow WX, Satu, DL, and the like will do.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, Justin Credible will also be in action that Friday against D-Money. Now, let me talk about D-Money for a second. This kid's got his balls screwed on tight. And I'm going to tell you why. I say kid because I've pretty much watched him grow up in the business.
Okay.
The very first Bloodbath show I ever had in Fort Valley, Georgia, I had a cage of death. It was Madman Pondo and Tank, and D-Money filmed it. He told me his dream was to get in there with Pondo. And he just did it. Now he's telling me he wants to take it to Justin Credible. The kid's got a death wish.
Yeah, for real.
But God bless him. What a great guy. I practically adopted him, Be my pleasure, my friend, to see you do your thing.
Mm.
Because I tell you, even though you didn't like the fella, and I won't name him because I know he made you uncomfortable, but D Money and this guy put on a clinic at MomoCon 2022.
Mm.
There were people throwing chairs in the ring. There was blood. It was great. It was beautiful.
Well, I'm not saying they weren't talented. I'm just saying his
Right.
actions outside the ring
Of
is what
course.
makes yeah.
Which is why we made the decision that we made. But now he gets to relive something very similar with ECW original Just Incredible. How boss is that, right?
That's pretty cool. That's
What
pretty
an
cool.
upgrade. And now, of course, Just Incredible challenging with his former student to a Beer City Brawl. And Joseph Von Schmidt is also on Friday challenging for the Stronghold World Heavyweight Championship. Regardless who wins, loses, Joseph Von Schmidt still gets his Beer City Brawl again. Just incredible. If he wins the title Friday, then that match, the Beer City Brawl, will be a title defense.
Okay.
So, like I said, something for everybody to enjoy.
Yep. Yep. And even though, sometimes those types of matches aren't always my favorite, I always appreciate what those guys do and are willing to do to put on a good show for the
Hey,
fans.
we're going to give you a fresh approach.
Yeah.
Is what we're going to do here. We're going to give you something that you have not seen before.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the pains in my asses. World Elite. So as you've been following my storylines,
Mm-hmm.
World Elite seems to think that they still have what it takes to take away what is mine. This guy, Mr. Worldwide, who hides behind a little mask like it's Halloween, talking to Batman boys,
Oh no.
tells me he's going to take my company away. And so he goes and recruits all these guys from all over the world.
He sounds spooky.
Iraq, Russia, Germany, Africa. He has gone and gotten the best wrestler from every region of the world, and he's trying to pit them against me and the Stranglehold Army.
Mm.
So he's added a guy who's equally a big pain in the ass. He's from Texas. He's a moonshiner of all things. He calls himself the Copperhead Rick Stevens.
Hmm.
And he's been a pain in my ass, stalking me, leaving me bad notes everywhere, attacking referees, putting them out of the show.
Rude.
He literally put one of my referees to the point of where he canceled his booking.
Mm.
So I'll give it a little taste. I brought in the King of Battle, Nicholas Quinones from great state of Florida, who had an impressive showing at MomoCon 22.
Okay.
And he'll be accompanied by two of the Guardians, and they're going to take on 3 members of World Elite in an elimination style tag match. Now, stipulation is Ali Muhammad won the All American Championship. He's from Nazarite, Iraq. What does this guy do to disrespect the flag on my title? He says, Hawk Tui, I am making this the All Iraq Championship.
Ugh.
The nerve of these people, right?
For real. That's
So
rude.
here's the stipulation. If Ali Muhammad is pinned in the elimination match, the person that pins him is the contender for the All-American Championship. Now, I have it under good authority that when that does happen, and it will, that the Stars and Stripes will be back where they go.
Yes.
On that title. All Iraq. Spare me. I had enough sand in my boots in that place for 6 engagements.
Mm.
All Iraq. Get real.
Not.
And, we talked about 2 of our favorite people, Luka
Mhm.
Daniels and Breno Royce. One
Yes.
of them is going to be crowned the international champion. And we'll, of
Mhm.
course, bring that title to Team Stranglehold. The World Elite, you're running out of options. And as it didn't get any more entertaining, I'll even send you the video later so you can laugh at it.
Okay.
The very first thorn in my side of a faction was the Unholy Alliance.
Okay.
A guy named Leatherface with a chainsaw
Oh no.
attacked my original arcade at my son's birthday party. When I ran to the store to go get more beer because we drank all the beer at the bar in this place. Hey, what can I say? Retired sailor, can't leave beer around me for too long because I'll drink it,
Mm.
And they go in and they rough up employees, they scare my kid, they beat up one of the patrons, and now they say they're going to come to this location and pull that crap again. Brian tied Leatherface and their little piggy, their little weasel, George Wiley.
Uh-oh.
Now, I've beat on that kid enough. When we invaded FWF, which was Leatherface's home, Stranglehold ran there and reminded them who the boss was. Now, if they need to revisit that lesson, if they need to realize why they ran scared after we went in their house, and they tried to come back in our house in Austell, Georgia in 2019, and we still sent them home on their back.
Mm.
They had an extra grind with me because, get this, 2 bad guys running a Christian promotion. There was something wrong with that. Wolves in sheep's clothing.
For real.
And they were calling themselves DCWM. I had to go in there and steal their champion from them, the real Unstoppable True, who might just have to come out of retirement and help me address this problem with those 2.
Maybe.
And their little piggy manager. Right? Apparently he had to make one of Weight Watchers like he's supposed to. Like you're supposed to push away from the buffet. Anyway.
Not bring it closer.
Yeah, not put your face in it. Anyway. Hey, listen, before anybody gets offended, I'm not fast shaming nobody. I'm just making a joke. Okay? I was just kidding. All right?
It's okay.
Unless you're him, then I meant every word of it. Little piggy, let me in. Right?
Not by the hair of my chinny chin
whooping him again. He's going to be like, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Right?
Yep.
So I'm bringing the real Unstoppable, the inaugural Stranglehold World Champion, will be in attendance at Birthday of Champions to help me remind them who Daddy was.
Mm-hmm.
And who Daddy still is, just so you know. Because yours truly's face is on that poster. So the face that runs the place.
True. Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I will have a mystery partner for him, a gift for the Unholy Alliance, to make sure they're reminded why they got their little butt spanked the first time. And I got an answer for that chainsaw too. He's not going to get Leatherface isn't going to get nowhere near me with that chainsaw. Not today, big guy.
No.
But all levity aside, it's cool that people just love to come see me on my birthday, even though they want to try and bring utter chaos and disrepair to the whole place.
Yep. Well, you heard it here, everybody. Make sure that you're at the Birthday of Champions celebration. Thursday, you said, is a signing only day.
Yes.
What is the times on that one?
5 to 8 to be the voice of Fry Lock, Terry Means, along with ECW original Sabu and Just Incredible.
Okay.
Just to kick things off, just to kind of wet your whistle a little bit. We'll have some pictures and stuff available for signing, all that sorts of thing. Of course, the games will be aplenty, so there'll be plenty of that. Mm-hmm. And that's just to get everybody ready for the festivities on Friday, Saturday, Friday will be an evening show, 5 to 8,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Past Sergeant Slaughter says nobody goes home until we all go home. So, hey, man, who knows? But that'll be the only night that we have the American males, Buff Bagwell, Scotty Riggs, of course, Sergeant Slaughter, and Sabu,
Okay.
because everybody has to go their separate ways for Saturday and Sunday for their deal. And then Saturday, Tila Santana, Princess Victoria, Coco Beware, and all the others.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be.
And I forgot, Abdul the Butcher will only be there Friday, as he
Okay.
is also committed to going to Florida with Sergeant Slaughter on the same plane.
Oh, cool.
So,
Yes.
you guys get to see me get to see my guys kick some butt. I'm going to sit back and
Enjoy the show.
have a shot of the bubbly, and maybe eat a piece of birthday cake, and who knows? I might play pin the tail on the jackass. I mean, who knows, right?
Well, those will be a plenty for you to choose from, I'm sure.
Well, especially with World Elite and the Unholy Alliance going to crash my party. And of course, somebody's got to beat my record on Galaga, right? I heard a challenge.
Yeah.
And also, somebody's got to beat me at WrestleFest.
Who
will it be?
I don't know.
But all levity aside, video games are plenty. Lots and lots of action and lots of things to get autographed. Once in a lifetime opportunity, gang. I can't stress it enough. Because who knows when these guys and girls will be together again. This could be the last time. Don't miss it.
No, please don't miss it. Please don't miss it. I'm not missing it. We're all going to be there. One comment before we get off of here. Ricky Silver says, hey, the top guy in the business, the WWE champion, regularly has to use his finisher 3 to 6 times to win a match. LOL. Yeah, it's things have changed. Let's put it that way. Things have changed. Are you still with me, Eric? I don't think he is. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. I went to thank. Oh, you're okay. I'm sorry. I did not hear you.
So Ricky Silver, what about the past? Hope he can come. But yeah, hey, listen. Thanks for having me. I'll work on getting you that special guest that you requested very soon.
I appreciate that.
And hey, who knows what the Birthday of Champions will hold for you, for Ron, for all of us.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this will make up for any crappy birthday any of y'all have ever had. Come on and party like a champion with yours truly.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to let everybody go. Make sure you guys do the things like share, subscribe to Peaches and Power Bombs. Make sure you come to the Birthday of Champions next weekend at Flashback Games. And we are out, guys. Thank you so much.